Hmm. Now, let's stay with the little guys and let's talk about a guy that we kind of overlooked last year that we thought was kind of going to go out in a shield versus Celestino Caballero. Let's talk about Jason Litzau. Now, there's talk of him exploring any other fighters in the division. Yorkis Gamboa has been brought up. Daniel Ponce de Leon has been brought up. Look, we overlooked Jason Litzau. We had to eat crow. I think, if he wants to fight either of those guys, then let him go for it. I think he'd probably have an easier time with De Leon than Gamboa. But what do you think of either of those fights, Aris?
I mean, they're both very good fights. Litzau really proved himself in the last time when he fought Caballero and pulled off the upset. I thought it was going to be a mismatch and Litzau would get destroyed, but he proved me completely wrong. Litzau's a good guy. He's tough, a little bit limited, but you know what? He makes the best of his abilities. And I think Gamboa is a little too much for him, and Ponce de Leon may have too much power for him, but Litzau is going to be competitive with both guys. He's never going to give up. He has as big a heart as anyone in the world, and he'll give them a fight. So I can't wait. Either one of those fights are very good.
Litzau is very big for his division. He's 5'8". He's tall. He's strong. He has proven power. Sometimes he struggles with using his long arms and reach. Sometimes he wants to slug more than he wants to use his natural advantages. That's the struggle that he has faced throughout the years. But it seems now that he's starting to find that middle ground that allows him to use all of his gifts together.
Agreed. And now let's talk about something I guess that's been talked about is building up a fight in March 12th. And this is the fight, the Top Rank pay-per-view that the HBO fight Martinez versus Inzurek is going to go against. Miguel Cotto versus Ricardo Mayorga. Wow. That's a name that I guess we haven't heard in a while. I haven't heard him since Mosley waxed him.
And everyone else before that.
Right. So that's going to be a pay-per-view, but it sounds like it's going to be one of these cards, which is reminiscent of the old Don King cards, where they're throwing a lot of fighters on it, because you also have the guy that Cotto defeated, Yuri Foreman, versus Powell Walnick.
Well, I actually heard that fight's not going to happen. Yuri Foreman is between him and Top Rank, their money is way off. And they want to keep Powell Wallach on the card because they eventually want to feed him to Chavez Jr. So it'll happen eventually, yeah.
Okay, so Foreman might be out. Wallach's on the card. Christy Martin, there's talk of her being on the card?
Well, Christy Martin has that big success story. Her husband went nuts after she tried to leave him late last year. And shot and stabbed her. Right. And you know what? For her to come back, that's a big success story. She's a legend in female boxing. Why not?
Mm-hmm. And so this might be an interesting card. I mean, lately, Top Rank has kind of had some success. I mean, then the last card that they did, the Land Fury card, when Chavez wasn't on the card, that ended up having a Fight of the Year candidate on the card in Soto versus Intilion. So this is something to watch out for. I guess it's always good to see Cotto back in action. He seems to bring,
And I always like Mayorga. I'm going to admit it. Mayorga's a trash talker. I always like trash talkers. I like Mayorga. He's fun.
Right, and I guess there should be some good trash talking.
Oh, he's going to run his mouth. He's going to get hurt, but he's going to run his mouth beforehand, and I'm all for it.
And the thing about it is that even at age 37 and even 2.5 years out of the ring, I saw his comeback fight on the Solis and Ray Austin undercard. Mm-hmm. The one thing that Mayorga can still do is throw a ton of punches per round, and anybody who can keep up Mayorga's pace. Cotto and Mayorga is going to be an interesting fight for as long as it lasts. I think that Cotto's sharpness will eventually come through.
I agree with you completely. Mayorga's a tough guy. He's always going to be game, but Cotto's eventually going to break him down. I'm saying a stoppage within 8 to 9 rounds.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens, in terms of build-up, and then what they do with Cotto next. Let's also talk about the heavyweight division, and there were talks about Hay and a Klitschko getting together, and then that seemed to go nowhere. So now Thomas Adamek, the word is going to get a chance versus Vladimir Klitschko.
Well, as we all know, it's been the never-ending saga. I mean, you can make a soap opera out of this with the David Hay, Vladimir Klitschko negotiations. And what happened now? Same thing. They couldn't agree on certain terms, so that fight's off. So Klitschko now is going to fight the man he was originally supposed to fight, Chisoria, and as an interim fight, and then he's supposed to fight Adamek in a big stadium in Poland around September.
Now that is confidence that Klitschko is going to go to Adamek's hometown or home country in order to fight. You know, the Klitschkos could probably rule the heavyweight division for as long as they please, given the depth of the division. But the two compelling challengers is David Haye and Thomas Adamek. And even though that they'll be underdogs to the Klitschkos, I'm glad that the Klitschkos are moving forward with taking on the most challenging contenders in their division.
Well,
Right.
there's not much else from that. They've cleaned out everything else.
Right, and Adamek is always a fun fighter.
Oh, he's going to give it his all. I don't think he has a chance, but you know what? He's going to give it his all. I love Adamek.
Yeah, yeah.